Most marriages don't end because of a major catastrophe or betrayal. Yeah, it does happen. I'm not going to deny that at all. But I think the majority of marriages, even if there is betrayal or things like that going on, I think the problem happened earlier on, and I think there's a drift in the relationship somewhere. And today I would like to talk about what's causing some of these issues and what can we do about it. I know my relationships are important to me and I want to keep them strong. Welcome, my name is Anne and welcome to Modern Matriarch. This is a place where we handle a lot in our lives and we want to live intentionally and we want to keep the relationship strong. So let's get into the topic today. First off, I'd like to let you know, 31 years ago, well, in August, it'll be 31 years, I have been married to my husband, Bill. And on that day, 31 years ago, I married my best friend. And today, he is still my best friend. We get a lot of comments about how much time we spend together, how we handle that. I mean, we both work out of the house. We spend a lot of our free time together. People think we're crazy, to be completely honest with you. But it works for us. And I can't say it's because we're perfect or we have all the answers, but I will say you have to keep your relationship top of mind and you have to work with each other and live intentionally. Let's start off with some of the issues that sort of cause drifts in the first place. I think the first thing that causes a drift is we just get so busy. We forget to pay attention to the relationship. You know, there's bills to pay, there's kids to take care of, there's parents to take care of, there's the house, you got work. We all got a lot on our plate. Sometimes I think we forget about the relationship, which is one of the most important things in our lives. And I think when that happens, we start become logistic partners. Who's going to pick up the groceries? Are you making dinner tonight? Who's going to do the laundry? It just becomes like, how do we get everything done? How do we accomplish everything? Instead of being life partners and enjoying life together, you're getting through life together, right? I think that is a really, really big thing. The next thing I think is if nothing's wrong, if no big fights or arguments, everything's fine, right? Everything is going day to day. We are doing our thing and there's no arguments, but what's underlying there? Do we really know what's going on in our relationships? Just because we're not arguing doesn't mean everything's okay. There could be a lot underneath. You gotta talk to your spouse or your significant other and make sure you're on the same page. Like I said earlier, me and my husband, we spend a lot of time together. We work out of the house, we sell on eBay together, but we all both have our own individual jobs. But just because we spend time together doesn't mean that we're connecting, or are we just going through the motions? You know, what's for dinner tonight? How many times have you heard that question? I'm really sick of that question, by the way. What's for dinner tonight? I don't know, you figure it out. Besides that, it sometimes just goes so routine that you just go with the flow. So what it comes down to is things can drift off slowly. We might not even notice. Like I said, if you're not arguing, if you're not fighting and everything's going okay, you have your routines and everything's going how it should be. You're spending time together, right? You're watching TV together. You might not be talking, but you're watching TV together, you're spending time together. I think sometimes things go under the radar very easily, and it's very easy to just get in these routines and not even notice when something might not be quite right. So it's great that we know how marriages drift. That's the easy part, right? We can probably figure out why marriages drift. But what can we do about it? But first, I have to tell you, how do you like my chair? It's a big old butterfly. I'm in a butterfly garden right now, and this was one of the chairs. So I thought it was pretty cool. I'm a butterfly. Getting back to the topic though. So what do we do about it? I mean, marriages drift, I get that. We said we want to live intentionally and our relationships are important to us. So the first thing is let's connect with our partner. Let's make them a priority. You know, I said earlier about the TV. And this is something me and my husband I've caught us doing this. We think every single night we sit down, we have dinner, then we finish dinner, we clean up from dinner, and we sit in front of the TV. And then, make it worse, we get the phones out. Here we are, we're a couple feet from each other, but we're not really talking to each other. We're not even really watching the same thing because we're on our phones. It's just more background noise. That's not intentionally spending time with each other. It is extremely important to make time for your significant other. It might be go for a walk, turn off the TV and play a game. It's amazing when you play a game. When was the last time you played cards? I bet you it's been a while. Or maybe go on a date night. Go to a park. I don't know what you guys enjoy doing. Make dinner together. But the point is just being in the same room isn't being together. And that's something that you have to realize. And like I said earlier, it's all about living intentionally. That was a big backfire. It's all about living intentionally. So you have to choose to be with your partner, and you know, it's okay to go on vacations yourself or go on outings yourself. I think it's really important to take care of yourself. But I think that you need to make sure that you're taking vacations with your significant other, going on outings with your significant other, and talking with your significant other. Don't get in that rut of being just logistic partners. Why not plan a vacation together? That sounds like fun. Another thing I'll say is you actually have to pay attention. Sometimes they're not going to tell you everything. Sometimes you just have to notice that they're having a stressful day, and it helps for you to pick up on that. Or maybe they've been trying to work really hard on something and they want to be noticed for it. Maybe they're cleaning up the house more often. Ever think about saying thank you and letting them know that you noticed? They chose us and you chose them, so they're pretty special to you and you're pretty special to them. So when somebody you care about notices things, it's appreciated. The next thing I want to talk about is when you got married, I don't know if you did this ritual or not, but me and my husband did the wedding candle. It's where you take 2 individual candles, you each light one, and then together you light the 3rd candle. And I think it is a great representation of what needs to happen in a marriage. You need your own candle to be strong. You need to be able to take care of yourself and be in a good place in order to be there for your spouse. And if you guys are both in a good place, that middle candle can burn strong. that relationship, that marriage, or whatever commitment you have with your significant other can burn strong. But you got to take care of yourself to be able to be there for themselves. And I'll say sometimes we need to help each other get to a good place. If my husband is having a rough time, I'm going to try to be there for him so his light can burn strong. Unless you take care of yourself, or unless you're in a good place, and unless he's in a good place. If he's in a bad place, that relationship isn't going to be in a good place, right? So we want to make sure that we're helping our significant other be in a good place. We want to be there for each other. I just think it's something that, being best friends, we've wanted to do that. We wanted to be there for them. If they're having a hard time, we want to be there for them. And I'm not saying you have to, but honestly, it'll pay off in the end, and you'll be better off for it. The other thing I'll say is you really need to understand yourself. You need to be able to know what you want, what you need, and then, next up, you need to be able to communicate it to your significant other. I think this is one of the biggest issues that people have. Our significant others, my husband, cannot read my mind. After 31 years, you'd think, sure, why not? He knows Ann. He should be able to figure it out. That ain't fair. It ain't fair. And it ain't going to be a reality. You need to be able to communicate what you need, what you want, and then you got to work together to build it. You're building a life together. You know, that's a big thing too. And you need to communicate, like I said, what you want and what your goals are. And who knows, maybe they line up. If they don't, you need to find a way to support each other on them and figure out how to make it work. It's communication and patience. You need a lot of patience in a relationship. We're not always gonna see eye to eye on things. And I'll tell you, one of the hardest things that we've had to do is sometimes you have to agree to disagree. And it's just part of life. This next one is a big one. Me and my husband have been married 31 years. We were together a year before that as well. I don't know how long you have been with your significant other or your loved one. I am not the same person I was 31 years ago. I don't want to be that person anymore. I'm in my 50s now. I am not the same person that I was in my 20s, nor do I want to be. I've changed. My husband has changed. You know, he's not the same person he was in his 20s either. He's in his 50s as well. And you sort of have to learn to adjust and weave. You have to compromise. You have to figure out who that person is now, who you are now, and you got to find a way to merge together. What it comes down to is you don't just say I do on the day of your marriage. You say I do every morning you wake up next to that person. Every day that you're living a life with your loved one, you have to say I do. You have to say yes. You have to be willing to make that commitment, not to the person they were, but to the person they are today. And there's a lot of acceptance that needs to be, because there are things that I'm sure my husband doesn't love everything about me. He tells me he does. And I appreciate that. He tells me he loves me quite a bit, which I think is great. I appreciate it. I love that about him. He's very caring and very appreciative. But you have to accept everything about the person, not just the things that you love to death. Even the things that drive you nuts, like the nagging. It's just part of it, you guys. And you got to compromise. You got to do things that they want to do and things that you want to do. And just find a way to come together and enjoy that life. But you're saying yes every single day you're together. And whether you're doing it consciously or not, that's what you need to do. You need to say yes, and you need to have patience, and you need to be accepting of each other. So with everything being said, marriages tend to drift. I don't think most of the time they just end out of the blue. I don't think it's a matter of betrayal or major catastrophe, like I said earlier. What it comes down to is you need to be intentional with your marriage, just like you want to be intentional with the rest of your life. And make it a priority. Make sure you tell them. You know, like I said earlier, my husband tells me all the time how he loves me. And he doesn't just say it, he means it. He makes sure he looks at me, he makes sure he gives me a hug, and he tells me, I love you. You know, it's only 3 words, but those 3 words mean a whole lot. Even today, even after 31 years. And the other thing is, I think we have grown and matured where we are very accepting of each other, and I hope you guys can be accepting of your significant other as well. It's not an easy thing to do. I know it's compromise. I don't like to compromise either, but I love my relationship. So I'm not saying I have all the answers for you. I did try to give you some insight and maybe some things to think about. I hope that you leave here or leave listening to this video going out and making sure you tell your loved ones how much you care about them. In the meantime, enjoy your lives and make sure to check out our next video. Have a good one.